I'm so excited that you are here with me today because I'm going to be speaking about a topic that is really important in our evolution as people. The title for today, or the discussion topic, is Bridging the Gap. And what that means is that we're going to discuss the distance between who we pretend to be, or who we show that we are to the world, and who we truly are. And I'm gonna share some tips on how I was able to merge the two so that you will be able to also. So let's dive deeper. So there are two areas that define or come together that forms the gap. The first one is who we pretend to be. And what do I mean by who we pretend to be? It is the facade, the mask we wear when we go out. You know, it's who our family members think we are, sometimes even who our spouses think we are. It's who we believe society will accept. It's whoever is acceptable, whoever gives the best image, whoever is more relatable, whoever is more acceptable. It's all of that mixed together. That is what we present as our personality. That's what we present as the definition of who we are when people ask us, well, who are you? That kind of is what most people present. However, there's another side of us. It's the side of us that most people don't know. It's the side of us that really is the true us. It's the one that knows all our secrets. It knows all the lies we tell. It knows what we've done in the past and others don't know. It's who we are when there's no one looking, there's no one judging. It's quiet. We're by ourselves and we're able to let loose without judgment. And so those are the two us. And there is this huge void, you know, between the two people for many people, and even for myself that used to be the case. And that is when I had what a lot of persons call a midlife crisis. And some of you may be going through your own midlife crisis, or you will be, or you have already gone through it. But I'm going to share what I did to fill that space in between who I was presenting to the world and who I truly was. What causes the gap? You know, what created this gap? Of course, we were all born just one self, but over time, the gap occurred. And for many people, these are the 5 main reasons why the gap was created. And these are the 5 main negative emotions that cause us to put on the mask, or build the mask, create the mask, present the mask. And these 5 negative emotions are: 1, unworthiness; 2, anger; 3, fear; 4, shame; 5, guilt. They're terrible. So it's the 5 terrible cancers of life, right? We all have gone through each one of those negative emotions in some way or another. But they are the ones that are in between. These 5, they're in between who we truly are, you know, creating that distance, and who we want to be or pretend to be, right? Those 5 horrible emotions. Yes, so let's kind of get to the meat of the matter, right? I wanted to find, when I was going through my midlife crisis in my late 30s, I wanted to solve this really quickly because it was affecting me terribly. And I know it's affecting you too. It's so easy to become wrapped up in the facade, this fakeness, especially when we live in a world of social media. We live in a world of pretend. So many people present the best version of themselves, and they try to convince you that this is who they are. Sometimes they are that version, but many times people are not that version. Many times who they're saying that they are, oh, I'm having so much fun, oh, this is me, everything is great. It's a lie many times. But you do have people that have mastered themselves and are extremely comfortable with who they are. And as a result of that, they have gone through a process. And this is the process that you are going to be required to go through also. And it is a very difficult process, I would say, because the society that we live in is not structured for this. It's structured for conformity. It's structured for likeness. It wants all of us to look the same, be the same, act the same in terms of what the version of success is, in terms of what the version of happiness is. So going through this process is going to be uncomfortable. It will take time because it took you years to become this pretend you, right? So you're going to have to be committed to going through this process. You will not wake up one day and it's gone. It's something that takes time, a lot of building and digging until you arrive at the end result, which we're going to discuss after. And so for me, I have my system. It's not like I've read many books and I took from all these different areas and I created my own version of a process. And this is what worked for me, and I don't know if it will work for you, but I want to share it to see if we have any likeness. Maybe it will work for you too. And so the first thing I did was it's asking yourself some extremely big questions. It's questions that are going to help to reveal all your buried feelings. It's going to help to reveal all the lies that you've told yourself, that you've come to kind of believe, but it's not true. And when we start asking ourselves these questions, we wake up. Say it with me. Step one is we're going to wake up from this fake existence. We're no longer going to believe the lies that we're telling ourselves, right? So that's step one. Asking ourselves big questions that's going to wake us up from the lie that we're currently living. And some of the questions, examples of some of the questions that people ask themselves, I've asked myself some of these questions, not all of them, and you can take from it which questions apply to you. So questions like, who am I? What is my purpose in life? What am I meant to do? Where am I going? Like, I wake up, I'm building, I'm working. Why? Where am I going? Like, what's my intention? Where do I go when I die? Like, this is important. We have to come face to face with our mortality, right? Is there more to life than success? Why am I doing all of this? Why do I wake up? Why was I placed on this earth? What is happiness? Like, how do I truly define happiness? Am I really happy according to the definition of what true happiness is for me? What does all of this mean? Everything that's happening, this whole existence, all these this entire journey, what does it mean? What is love? Do I really love myself? Do I love anyone else? Like, is there anyone out there that I love? It's like all these really deep questions that starts to dig in, and a lot of them you won't have answers for, and then you're going to realize, well, I don't have answers, or the answers that I have are not answers that I like, or the answers that I found, they're just I'm not in alignment with those answers. And so that's the first step, us coming face to face with digging deep and waking up. Okay, so we did step one, which was asking yourself the questions, right? The big, deep, dark questions. And for everyone it's different. You're going to probably come up with different questions or additional questions than the ones that I gave examples of. Step two is a little bit more of a scientific approach. Now we are aware. In the beginning I gave you the 5 negative emotions that we all experienced that created the gap in the first place. So now I'm going to record every time any one of these 5 emotions occur in my everyday life. And for some of us that are highly strong, I would say, we may go through all these 5 emotions in one day. Some of us may require a week, and others maybe even a month. But we have to, it's very important in this, in step 2, to walk around with a little notepad, and every time you feel any one of the 5 emotions, you're going to record it. For example, the first one, unworthiness. When do you feel unworthy? What triggers that unworthy emotion? Like, who's around you when this happens? Like, what did you hear? What did you see? You know, you can become by just your, which one of your senses caused you to start going into that emotion? And during the period of time that you're recording it, within months time, like how often did it happen, right? The second thing, say anger. Well, what caused you to get angry? What are the details of the entire incident? You know, what happened? You know, what was your side of the story when this huge burst of anger came out? And I'm not talking about, you know, just a little upset. I'm talking true anger that came out. The next one is shame. When shame came, what was it linked to? Did something happen now, or was it an old memory? A lot of the times shame is tied into something that occurred in the past. As with a lot of these emotions, what happened? What was the memory? Is it known? The incident that you were thinking about or that occurred, was it known to anybody else, or was it just you? Or only you were aware of this shame, right? Next one is self-doubt. What were you attempting to do when the self-doubt came? Were you doing something new? Were you doing something that you're told you're not good at, or you know within yourself that you're not good at? Were you coming out of your comfort zone? Were you just dreaming about doing something? Like, you know, what caused you to go into self-doubt, you know, self-hate, just really viewing yourself as nothing? The last one is guilt. What happened? Was it a memory of something that happened to you? Why it brought on this guilt? Was it something that you did to someone else? Was it something that happened that you couldn't prevent from happening? Right? Like, what caused it? So we have to dig to the root of these 5 negative emotions in order for us to move past them, in order for us to go to step 3. And this is going to be a very tough emotional process, step 2, because you're going to have to reveal some secrets. You're going to have to face some memories that you don't want to face. But if you do it correctly, it probably is going to be the last time or the last period of time that you have to go back to these. And then we're going to move on to step 3. Step 3. So we went through the ugly stages of digging and exposing the root, exposing the secrets, exposing the truth as to where these memories come from, why I feel the way I feel every time these 5 horrible emotions are in my life, right? So step 3 is about unmemorizing these 5 negative emotions. We're trying to get them out of our lives. We're trying to stop them from being in charge, stop them from driving us in a direction that we don't want to go in. So how did I do it? And again, I've read books and I've pieced together this solution, and that was what worked for me, and that's why I'm sharing it. And so you can research yourself. There's many people that have different ways of getting through this or have done so. So for me, the first thing that I do, or I did after I recorded spent my month going through all my emotions and seeing when these occurred, was that I became self-aware. I became present in my everyday life. So what I started to do was I started to recognize and become present every time any one of these 5 emotions presented themselves. So the first part of step 3 is becoming self-aware, is to become conscious in your everyday life, not just going through and just being triggered. It's like every time it comes up, it's like, whoa, Shelly, you're becoming angry. My soul wakes me up. Wake up. This is a moment. Let's go through the process. Anger is here. Unworthiness is here. Fear is here. Shame is here. Why? Right? So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling ashamed. Oh, I'm feeling unworthy. Oh, I'm afraid. I'm angry. I feel guilty. So I first make sure that I'm aware of it. Step 2, I have to be willing to face it, right? Okay, you're afraid. Why are you afraid? What's happening? Why are you ashamed? What is happening? What is causing this? Where is it coming from? So I have to become aware of it and face what is behind it. Are you ashamed because somebody brought up something that you did years ago? Are you ashamed because you know within yourself something that somebody else doesn't know? You have to face it, right? So that's the second part. Knowing what it is, coming into being aware, coming conscious of the moment, facing it in all its entirety. Then step 3 is acknowledging it. So, for example, if it's a past experience that was rooted in an emotion that when you were young, say you are unworthy. And I say to myself, for example, I'm feeling unworthy and I'm feeling that I don't deserve. Maybe you're going for a new job or you want to get promoted and the feeling comes in. I acknowledge that, okay, I feel this way because, maybe family members, family friends, people that you trusted told you that you're not bright enough to, be successful in life. You're not pretty enough to be successful in life. You're too dark to be successful. You're too ugly. You're too fat. You're too skinny. Your head is too big. Your nose too big. Whatever the thing is, I am remembering all of those emotions. And so when I go to apply for the new job, or I think about applying for it and I start feeling unworthy, I acknowledge why, this is happening to me. And I say to myself, okay, that's not happening now. Those people told me those things a long time ago. And right now, I don't believe it. I'm removing that emotion from my life. I'm no longer believing the lies that I was told. I'm no longer making that past experience control how I feel. It's not happening to me right now. Right now, the only thing that's happening to me is that I'm applying for to a new job, or I'm changing where I want to go, or I'm dreaming, or I'm doing a vision board. Whatever it is, it's not happening to me now. So I acknowledge and I thank you. Sometimes I thank my inner self, the voice. I say, thank you for sharing. Thank you for reminding me of all the things that was said. And I know it was okay to feel like that at that time. And that time is gone. And the time for feeling like that is no longer required. So thank you. I appreciate the memory, the reminder, and I let it go. So that was that part of it. Then the other part of it, the final part of it, is that I practice to take deep breaths. So I'll take 1 or 2, maybe even 3 deep breaths. Do it with me. I don't know if you're watching this video right now and you're feeling any of those 5 negative emotions because of whatever is going on in your life. That was breath 1, breath 2. Then I start telling myself the truth. All the truths that I choose to believe. And for me, my truths are tied deep into my belief in my relationship with God. So I'll tell myself things that are scriptural. Like I would say, I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me when I'm afraid. Or I am more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. Or greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And all these different scriptures that bring strength to me, that brings life to me, that reminds me that I'm a royal priesthood, that I was called, and that God knew me before the foundations of the earth, that he called me and purposed me before he formed me in my mother's womb. All these different scriptures and facts. Sometimes I have facts that I take from my life that I apply to that situation and tell myself, you've done this before. You've passed exams before. You've presented to clients before. You got the position that was lower than this, that below this. So you've got the experience now that entitles you to try at this higher position. You can start a business. Why not? Others have done it before. People that have not, don't have anything more than what you have, and you're willing to do the work. So I start telling myself these truths, and then I start absorbing it. So with the breath, with the truth, and with the change of emotion, by choosing to feel positive, choosing to feel happy, digging for it wherever it is inside of me, and applying it to that moment, to that situation, to that emotion, I normally am able to get out of that moment, right? To get out of that gap where I was feeling. And that is how I do. And it's not something that you may do. I may have to do it once or twice for the day, I may have to do it several times for the day depending on what I'm going through. And I want you to promise that you will try it. I don't know if it will help 1%, 2%, 10% the different times that you go through any one of these 5 emotions, but I want you to apply that step. And then we're going to eventually reach step 4 of my process of bridging the gap between, again, who we pretend to be and who we truly are. We're finally at step 4. And step 4 may, for some people, take a month, a couple months. For me, a year to arrive at, with lots of practice in step 3. So step 4 is reaching the ultimate goal. And what's the ultimate goal for all of us? It's when we become fully transparent. When we are finally able to connect or bridge the gap between who we pretend to be and who we truly are. Look at me. Like, just pretend with me that you're in this room and there's these 2 huge walls closing in on you, and you spend your whole day bracing left, bracing right, just trying to stop these 2 walls from crushing you. Imagine the energy that it takes, all the positivity that it sucks out of you to be pushing left and right, preventing from being squashed. Imagine seeing a door in front of you, that's step 4, and finally being able to walk to that door, open it, and come out of the room. And now the walls slap and become one. What do you think happens with all that energy that you just gained, with all that peace, with all that joy, with all of that happiness from just that force? Energy is not destroyed, it's just transferred. So now all that energy that you were using to prevent or to project the fakeness, project the facade, the mask, it's no longer going into that. Where do you think it's going to go? It's going to be directed into who you truly are, right? And imagine what you're going to become. So, and this is when you're in step 4, it's when you respond with the appropriate emotion to the situation. You're not responding from memory and hurt and damage. You're responding, you're not going to become overly angry because somebody triggered you. You're going to respond. If it just requires you to be strong or firm, that's what you're going to be. You're not going to over exaggerate anymore in any one of those 5 emotions. Nobody's going to have to walk on eggshells around you to not trigger you, right? Because you no longer react, you respond. You're able to be honest with people. You're able to tell them exactly how you feel in a loving, respectful way. You no longer have to lie because you think that by lying and telling them lies, you're going to keep the relationship, you're going to offend them. The truth is, by you're doing the opposite to yourself. You're harming yourself by being something that you're not, by being dishonest with people. But you're not going to do it disrespectfully, and you're not going to do it out of anger. You're going to do it out of love and in a controlled way, right? You're able to say no when you're supposed to say no. You're able to become open to the right people. And I'm underlining the word right people, because hurt people hurt people. So if they've not gone through step 1, 2, 3, 4, they're probably not the right people for you to be open with. And some of us are going to be delivered from our shame by finding the right people to become open with, by bringing light to the darkness that we have, that are our secrets, that are the things that cause us to be unworthy. Find someone or people that you can speak to that are the right people, that have already gone through this process and they're mature enough to help you, or to be a listening ear, or to give you some wisdom and advice. And that is when you evolve. That is when you grow. That is when we become who we were meant to become. And it's my purpose, and it weighs heavily on my heart in helping anyone that comes in contact with me in reaching that goal, in bridging who you are and who you're meant to be, and living your life's purpose, living your life's dream, doing everything that you're meant to do and live the ideal life. And not only have I done it in my personal life, but I've, passed on everything that I know to family and friends. And right now we have a company called Life Compass that is building a platform, or has built a platform, that can assist you in the career aspect of your lives, in getting you to ask yourselves a question and to dig deep and understand who it is that you are, what you are meant to do or become, and how to accomplish it. Not just giving you information, but providing you the resources that you need. So if you're interested in this, comment below, send me a message. However you're hearing this video or watching this video, whatever options are available to you, reach out to me and I'll be happy to pass on that information to you. Again, thank you for watching my content. And if there's anything that you want me to discuss, feel free to let me know. And if I have any experience in it, if I have any resources available, I will create a video or write in my blog so that you can have that information and apply it to your life.